So I'd like to talk about the new championship format that will be used in NASCAR's top three series this year. It was announced January 12th that they'll be going with a chase format, so it'll be vaguely at least similar to what was used in 2004 through 2013 in the Cup Series. I'll definitely say first that a season long championship is what I prefer. It's the most fair for awarding a champion because it puts the same emphasis on every single race consistently. And just, it's almost common sense to me that's what would be done. Also, with the playoffs, when you get into the elimination races, the TV coverage would be, showing the playoff standings a good amount of the time. It gets in the way because that's less space they have to show the running order of the race. They'll be talking about the cut line and, the guy in 12th place in points is doing this. The guy in 13th, oh, now he's doing this. Oh, the guy in 14th is now leading, so that moves the cut line. It's so much. It got to be overwhelming for me. I couldn't just enjoy the race because every 10 or 15 laps they're talking about 12th place in points, and meanwhile you could have a driver running in fifth in the race who hadn't run there recently, and they're not really getting the attention that they deserve. So, that being said, I'm on NASCAR's website, and they have this Chase 101 page where they ask pretty much all the questions that we would have. That's how they formatted the breakdown, which I think works pretty well. So it asks, there's how do drivers qualify for the chase? The top 16 drivers following the regular season finale for the NASCAR Cup Series advance to the postseason. Top 12 for O'Reilly Auto Parts Series and top 10 for Craftsman Truck Series. So I don't like the number 16 for this. When the chase first started, it was 10, which made more sense at least. 16 drivers going for a championship. I mean, there are not going to be 16 where championship quality. I know we've had once where Joey Logano the year before last, I think, was maybe 15th in regular season standings and then won the championship. But I don't even want. I didn't think that totally made sense. That's how it was structured. But somebody 15th in August. Like I said, I like judging it by the whole season, all races equally. So saying, hey, now if you get hot at the end, you can win the whole thing. It just doesn't appeal to me. So I'd rather not somebody 15th, 16th after 26 races is eligible for the championship. Yes, they would have some ground to make up on the leader, but still. And I know when they made the announcement, there were some comments that I think from Mark Martin that there are contracts and it didn't really specify, but I guess what he was saying was that there are contracts with incentives based on finishing the year top 16, aka making the playoffs as the format used to be. So if that's what he was saying, that makes sense, and I get it. There could be, I would hope that there would be some allowance in future contracts where we can, that would allow us to get back to the full season. Can drivers qualify for the chase via win and in? No, win and in is no longer a means to advance to the postseason. It is strictly based on point standings for each national series. So to me, that's an improvement. That was something about the playoffs that I didn't love. Yeah, it's great if you could win races in the regular season, but if you're also 20th in points or whatever, 25th, again, what I was saying about 16th. I'm not going to say, hey, if somebody's 20th, that's okay. They can race for the championship. So there's an improvement there. How many postseason races are there? Like the previous elimination style format, there are 10 chase races for the Cup Series following the 26 race regular season. 9 for O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, 7 for the Craftsman Truck Series. Are there any changes to the point structure? Yes, wins are now worth 55 points. The remaining positions pay the same points, 35 for second, 34 for third, etc. And stage points are also the same, 10 for first, 9 for second, etc. That's not something I agree with either. If you win, you get the most points. It doesn't need to be this huge drop from a win to second place, in my opinion. I guess this came from, a long time ago. Someone said drivers aren't driving hard enough or whatever. I don't know where that came from. Having stages in the first place, that wasn't something I was into either. For one thing, and especially, if you could have stages without cautions, I would prefer that over having stages and stage cautions. If you have those cautions at predetermined laps, that makes some of the strategy more predictable. If a crew chief will know that these two caution flags are coming out. Yeah, they don't know when any other cautions are coming out, but still, if you know when a caution is coming out twice, it's just makes it a little easier, and it's not something I agree with. And they put the stages in because, again, they supposedly weren't racing hard enough. That criticism came from either fans or media or something. Definitely didn't come from it wasn't drivers saying, hey, we're not racing hard enough. It wasn't teams saying that. And people got on the case with drivers saying we had a good points day today. I always heard that as a shorthand way of saying didn't win today, but hey, didn't finish 30th either, finished third, and that's a lot of points, so that's good for us as we're running for the championship. It was just a quick way of saying that. I don't know why anybody has seen it any differently. They seem to see it as you just didn't try, you finished third on purpose, you didn't want to win. These drivers sacrifice normal childhoods to race, and then they're going to get to the pros and not try. I don't get it. I don't see that. Next question is, once the chase begins, are there any eliminations? No, the chase does not have eliminations. So again, I see that as an improvement. At least resetting points anyway. That was another thing I didn't care for in the playoffs. Somebody has a great round, and then they're back to almost even with the guys who didn't when the next round starts. Are points reseeded for the chase? Yes, points are reseeded just once for the chase. The just once is, kind of what I was saying. That's good. Following the end of the regular season and based on where drivers finish in the standings for the regular season. So the driver who wins the regular season championship starts the chase with 2,100 points, second 2,075, third 2,065, fourth 2,060, and it's 5 points each position down through 16th. So 16th has 2,000. The next question is, it was a really obvious one. Then how is the champion determined? Whichever driver in the chase has the most points following the season finale is the champion. Yep. So those are the details. Before the announcement, I knew I would probably be at least okay with it because after all the talk, I figured it wasn't going to be the exact same format we've had. There was so much talk of people wanting either a season-long format or a chase-esque format, so I didn't think it was going to stay the playoffs, or if it did, it would move away from the playoffs kind of format we had. So, and I like Mark Martin saying that we could eventually have a full season format and this is a step in that direction. So, hopefully that happens in maybe 5 or 10 years. It's just more straightforward. And another thing about the playoffs, it was pretty hard to understand them because there were so many details. I think after a while I finally got it, except I couldn't remember whether the guys in the championship in the playoffs, I didn't remember if they still scored playoff points during the playoffs. I think the answer was they did, but it doesn't matter now. Don't have to worry about it. So, this is definitely easier to follow. So, and it's good just to know what it is now. The Clash exhibition race is in just a few weeks, February 1st. So, season's going to start, and that's the main thing. So, those are my thoughts. Thanks for listening.